Hello and welcome to this week's Walkies Talkies with your host, Adam Leatherbarrow. Um, it's been a very good week. Very good week. Not from a footballing standard, but for me personally, I think it's been quite nice. Spent a lot of quality time at the weekend with little Connie, and we took her to her first fireworks evening, where I actually bumped into my co-host, Cal, and his wife and son Bo. We went to the Chelmsford Racecourse fireworks, and I must say it was excellent. The whole thing was set up really, not really good, really well run. Lots of things to do with a fairground there, and lots of food, places to get something to eat. Also, one of my favourite places to eat at the moment in Chelmsford is Schwings. So shout out to Mark and his wonderful Schwings franchise. Um, yeah, and the fireworks was brilliant, absolutely superb. I mean, what a show! None of this orchestra music with classic. You know the song. It's actually modern music, nice fireworks. Yeah, it was great. It's great. Well run. Definitely recommend it for next year. Um, yeah, so that was good. Um, and then this week, obviously, the fireworks carried on through the week, and yeah, it's been great. But talking of fireworks, there seems to be quite a bit going off at the minute at West Ham United, with lots of rumours suggesting that Julen Lopetegui will be sacked if he fails to secure a win at the weekend against the mighty Everton. Will the Hammers become unstuck against the Toffees? Um, El Sacchio 2.0, and it's only November in the season. Who would have thought it, eh? I mean, again, I don't want to. I don't want to draw attention to my predictions in our very first episode of Dad's Ad Job, which you can find on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music, and many other platforms. Cheap plug, I know. But yeah, I did suggest that with the level of expectation amongst the fan base and the board, it wouldn't surprise me if Julian Lopetegui was the first to be sacked this season, if not shortly after the first. But yeah, I think as I've debated many times, a very kind-hearted gentleman, just not the right man for the job at hand. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's under pressure. It doesn't surprise me that his job could be under threat after 13 games in charge of the club competitively. But he was never the right man for the job, and I can't reiterate that more. Yeah, I can't talk about that any more than I can. Um, but there's talking about suitable replacements. Obviously, I don't imagine David Sullivan's going to pay out for a manager. Something he should have done in the summer after appointing a free agent and sacking him, giving him almost £3.5 million worth of compensation fee after 6 months in the job. But who would be the suitable candidate? And um, a lot of people won't like it. A lot of people won't like it, but in my opinion, I from on a short term basis until we find the right man, I'd be very open arms about Frank Lampard coming back to the club. As I stated on our Twitter post and thread, reasons why he should be the manager. Um, you know, I think even taking into consideration Everton, with the task at hand that he had, with a dilapidated side, a, a dysfunctional club in itself, to get a points per game ratio of 1 point per game and staying in the Premier League, I think would be a massive achievement. And as I said on my cameo appearance for E20 Zone YouTube channel, if he can be the type of manager that can lure the likes of Onana to Everton, over joining a West Ham side that is in Europe, playing European football, after having the bid accepted for exactly the same price and offered the same amount in wages, then I think that says a lot for the type of pull that he has as a role model in the game. So I think he should be given a lot more credit than people are not giving him. Effectively, I know Uncle Harry might pipe up and say, "Oh, he's top of his game, and yeah, I think he should definitely be. He's one of the best English managers around, isn't he?" That is a really bad impression of Harry Redknapp, but I don't care. Um, but Frank Lampard is a good enough manager for me to take over. When you look at his Derby spell, he had a 1.63 points per game ratio at Everton, at Derby, sorry, then beeping not a good one here. Um, yeah, the 1.63 points per game ratio at Derby County, and having the likes of Fikayo Tomori and Mason Mount as his loan options, and almost 90 minutes away from securing Premier League football for the club, I think shouldn't go unnoticed. And then to go into a Chelsea side that was under a transfer embargo, and again revert to youth, likes of again Mason Mount, Fikayo Tomori, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abrahams, Reece James. There's plenty more. Chalobah, another player that steps up. I think I think he deserves a lot of credit for his job at Chelsea, securing a top four position with that team, and also going to an FA Cup final, and on record being the last English manager to reach an FA Cup final, and keeping it in the family. Uncle Harry was the last English manager to win the FA Cup for Portsmouth, and I think that must have been 2008. So, um, so again, this just supports my calls that not enough English coaches are out there. Don't get given the top job to be able to perform, but West Ham could use that as an opportunity to hire Frank Lampard, so then encourage English coaching, and kind of support an ex-academy player who's received a lot of stick. I'm not. That's it. I'm not. I'm part. I understand, and I've been told I am very much in the minority of the opinion of favouring Frank Lampard to return to the club. But I'm not ignorant to forget the fact that the small minority of fan base was the reason why there was that friction between Frank and the fans, because many years ago, when Frank was about 17, 18, a small selection of fan base called Harry Redknapp out, saying that they would rather see Scotty Cannon and Matt Holland play for a West Ham team over Frank Lampard. And that's when you can Google it, Harry Redknapp's famous rant about Frank Lampard. It's going to be a world-class, one of the best English talents in the world. And he proved everyone right. Sadly, it came at the cost of West Ham, and he had to thrive and develop under probably a level club like Chelsea. I say that's a bit unfair. A slight step up, not the Chelsea that we know of today, but the Chelsea that he joined wasn't the Goliath team of what we see today. I think they were just that slight step up to West Ham, if not level on par. I mean, when you look at the amount of trophies Chelsea have won before Lampard joined Chelsea, I think you can see that the difference between the two clubs is not that different. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to dwell. I don't want to. I can't. I can't share my opinion too much. Just stuff it down your own throats on the airways right now. But that's just my opinion. That's just my reaction. But there's talks about Sebastian Hoeneß as a potential replacement for Julen Lopetegui if the axe has been wielded. But again, Sullivan has to dip his hand in his pocket to pay a compensation fee to get a manager in, something he has never done during his tenure at West Ham United. So it will be a complete change of tact to what we're used to. So let's see what happens. Will we see His Royal Highness come to the club? Will King Julian be given the sack, and a new royal figure comes into play? HRH, His Royal Highness. Who knows? Remains to be seen. Um, are we going to see the king is dead? Long live the king. Who knows? That's me signing out. You won't hear from me for a good couple of weeks. You lucky, lucky things. I'm going away to recuperate and have a nice little family holiday with my wife, my daughter, my dad, and step family. And I think, yeah, I need this break. I need this break. But don't worry, we'll be back soon. Cal and Rob will be holding the fort with their recordings. It may be a bit, you won't see any intros or anything like that because I'm the editor, so we won't get a lot of that back. But hopefully they can provide you with some good listening and good thought processes whilst I'm away. But yeah, we're going to take some time, going to rethink some things, going to try and deliver a better product. Despite the fact that we are amateurs, we have got full-time jobs, we are full-time dads, and time is of the essence. So we try and produce something as good as we possibly can, and I hope that you enjoy it. So, yeah, see you in a couple of weeks. Adios.